Man, I wish I had that.
Wish you had what?
My little headphones. I don't know what happened to them like that. You got an extra pair of those?
Uh,
Bring me a pair. I know y'all got them.
that's what I'm saying. Everybody done took them. We done rearranged the office. I'll see if I can find a pair.
Yeah, go and hook it
Um,
up. I know y'all got at least one.
yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and get
Ready.
started.
All right, let's go.
What's up, people? And welcome to another edition of Finally Financial. I'm here with the good friend Willie Butler. We are discussing divorce and debt. How you doing, Willie?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm great. I'm great. My name is Erik T. Jackson, and this podcast aims to educate on all things finance. And we're talking with Willie so we can learn about marriage and what goes into that financially, how you can come up, or in some cases, how, you know, getting a divorce can hurt you. All right. So, Willie, how about you introduce yourself for us?
My name is Willie Butler. I am a father of three. Been married for 7, 8 years. Currently going through a divorce. Been together for 12 years, 13 years now. And so, and it's just an honor and pleasure to be on your podcast. Thanks for having me.
No problem, buddy. It's great to have you here. So, what I'd like to start with is uh, talk about like your philosophy on finance. Before you got married, what was your philosophy? What were your thoughts about your financial picture?
But my philosophy on finances, I've always been a guy to not have debt. My philosophy, especially graduating from college, was to eliminate my debt and live below my means. I grew up in a single parent home. So I've wanted to always just be able to provide, all right, through the good times, because life has its ups and downs, all right, your peaks and valleys. And so I've pretty much lived off the 80-20 principle. Live off 80%, save and invest 20%.
I feel you. I feel you. That's a great principle. I have a principle like that as well, man, and that right there, that'll keep money in your pocket for a long time. So, uh, what? How do you feel like uh, marriage would help you with your finances? Like, if you when you were single, did you have any thoughts on that?
Well, marriage will help you if you're equally yoked with the person that you're marrying. I mean, we really have to look at marriage as a business decision. Business decision, as I stated earlier, I'm currently going through it right now. And one of her complaints was that I was always talking about business. But it is, and essentially is a business decision, and it's one of the most important decisions that you'll make. You'll get opportunities in the job world. You'll have
Absolutely.
friends. You'll make money. You'll lose money. But I mean, I don't think that there's a more important business decision that you'll make than the person who you decide to partner with, whether it be in a
Absolutely.
marriage or a long-term relationship. So I think we need to put more emphasis on that. My kids are young now, but I'm gonna make sure that I drill them on that because it's easy to get sidetracked
Right.
in that element. But if you keep the main thing, then you should be all right.
Absolutely. And it's very important that you find someone that's on the same level as you
Right.
financially,
Yeah.
because you're absolutely right, man. Marriage is a business. And when you say I do, you're making a business decision.
Right. Right.
So, so, uh, how did you grow up regarding money and finance? Like, how did your parents teach you, or what did they teach you? Maybe some lessons, or the biggest lesson?
Well, I grew up with my mom. My dad died when I was in middle school. So I grew up with my mom working two jobs, and we were check to check. You know what I'm saying? We were check to check. Mom had some social security benefits, but even with that, I figured that we'd be ahead because my pops, uh, he didn't pay a whole lot of child support, so that kind of helped out from a financial aspect in our lives. But we were always check to check. So I was just wondering, like, yo, how you get all of this income coming in and we're check to check all the time, no matter what,
Yeah.
income
Yeah.
tax to all of that stuff. Mom was always check to check. And
Yeah.
so that was one of my main philosophies. I never lived like that. I didn't want to be check for check. I didn't want to have to ask anybody for anything because I grew up watching mom asking people, and I felt I know she needed it, but then I felt they're paying too or having to
Right.
lend it or let her borrow. So I was like, I never want to ask anybody for anything from a financial standpoint. And
I
it's
feel you.
anything in that equation. I want to be able to help and give instead of receive. So that was my upbringing and my philosophy
Okay.
on it.
Good. Good. Now I know I was the same way, and I really didn't understand how poor we were growing up because my parents, I guess they did a really good job of hiding it, you
Right.
know. But you know, once you get older and you see what others have and what you never did, but I never felt like I was poor or without. Did you feel like that, or were you conscious of what you didn't have and what you wanted your children to have when you got a family?
Well, I've always worked. I always worked. I started off, I lied on my job application when I was 14 to get a job at Kroger. That was my first job. Right now, you see the cashier bagging and ringing it up. But before it was just cashier, we had actual baggers. So my first job was as a bagger at Kroger. And then I would always try to take the carts out and get tips. And so
Okay, so you
so
was
that was
hustling
my
even back then.
yeah, but I didn't know that my ultimate goal was to buy some posters. I wanted
Oh,
a
okay.
wall full of posters. I had Ken Griffey Jr., Michael Jordan, of course, Charles Barkley, David Robinson.
Yep.
Over my bed, I had the Janet Jackson poster. It's just like I couldn't wait to get off to go to. Back then, they had a store called Kmart, and Kmart had the best posters.
Yep.
I grew up in Euless, which is between Fort Worth and Dallas, so of course I had a lot of cowboy stuff.
Yeah.
Then I had any new poster that came out, my walls were packed. I remember everybody coming over looking at my poster, and I was just instead of saving 10%, I was obsessed with getting another poster. So that I had Larry Bird, I had them all on my wall, man. I just
Yeah.
had a wall full of posters. So that was my motivation right there.
Awesome, man. That's what's up. So when you and your wife were dating, what were your conversations about money like?
Oh man, it was. We were in different situations. I had worked and get out of debt, and
Mhm.
she was still in debt, and so it was a tug of war all the time. I was just trying to always explain the reasoning behind it, and she was just spontaneous with, okay, money come, money goes,
Mm.
you go,
Yeah.
and so that was a red flag right there. That was
Red
a red
flag
flag
for
right
sure.
there. But and I knew it. I don't put it on her. She showed me the signs, but I was just
So
ignored the red flag.
okay. So in those conversations that you guys ultimately had, um, did you guys agree who had the higher financial IQ? Like, who was the one that could put all your finances in place, or were you bumping heads on that?
It I mean, it was obvious who had the financial IQ.
Mhm.
However, it wasn't something that she would concede.
Oh, okay.
and, and
Yeah.
I and I'm not the one to beat my horn to say,
Hmm.
hey, I have the high financial
Hmm.
IQ. I
Right.
was like, we didn't make some babies because we had babies before we were married. So I was like, okay, now we really have to start looking at this as a decision because now we have uh, a legacy here, and we have to provide. I don't want to. My grandparents died, didn't leave anything.
Yeah.
Grandparents died. So, well, my mom's still alive, but I don't want to be in a situation where I can't leave a legacy. So I want to. I went to Stephen F. Austin University and worked 2 or 3 jobs there, and it was pretty much check to check. And so I
Yeah.
was like, I don't want our kids to have to go through that.
Absolutely, bro.
Go through that.
I understand that.
working, burning a midnight oil, and then coming to class, falling asleep all day. I didn't, I didn't want that to happen. So
Yeah.
I've always been on that standpoint, and so I
Okay.
would organize
Yeah.
business. And it started off. I created a budget. I created a budget for us, and it started off okay. It started off okay, but I mean, after we said I do, all of that went down the drain. It's
Yeah.
my way or the highway.
I understand that, brother. I definitely understand that. So let me take this break to say that if you have found value in this podcast, please subscribe so that you can get more videos just like this one. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and share with your friends and family so that everyone can benefit from more videos just like this. Appreciate you guys. Great, man. So now let's jump into the marriage. Uh, and how did, or if did the financial conversations change at all once you guys got married?
most, most, most definitely it changed once we got married. Most definitely it changed because now after marriage, I commingled a lot. We got a joint bank account, and we were actually doing well for a while.
Mm-hmm.
We were actually just doing well
Mm-hmm.
for a while, following the budget. Then it was because I was wanting to meet every week. I'm like, let's meet every week, so we
Absolutely.
know where every dollar is going.
Yep.
And I gave her extra money just for miscellaneous funds. So it was like it shouldn't be any excuses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've always had. She had the new cars. My truck got stolen, but I had that thing with them 10, 12 years. It's
Yeah.
just to make sure that just the family had it. And I never was about that. You can't miss what you never had.
Okay.
So, but it went from 1 week to 2 weeks to all right. Let me let housewives go off. So I had to wait, and then it'd be a bunch of signs, and then we started getting raises, and I was like, "Well, send me your check stub." And I ain't sending you mine. Like, well,
Then
this
it,
is business. This is a partnership. What's going
yeah.
on?
So all of a sudden she started not wanting to be open about her finances with you.
Right. And then we had we were, accumulating the nest egg. We were saving pretty well,
Yep.
but it takes hard work, and it's hard to keep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And so, and it was good. I've started investment accounts for the kids, just life insurance. Just I was on that. Let's put it
Yeah,
that.
you was on your grown man
Yeah,
ish. Yeah, you just
like we took a lot of family trips, but we planned for it. And so I was like,
right.
we don't have to be around here living
Absolutely.
like we're poor mouth.
Right, because
Take
you
back
grew
in
up
the
like
day.
that and you didn't
Yeah,
want to,
so
yeah, you
we're
didn't
gonna
want to be
live
like
life
that.
also. Let's just do it within a budget. You
Right, right.
everything. I wanted her to get her hair and everything. Go ahead, beautify yourself. All of
Absolutely.
that stuff, car wash,
Absolutely.
all of that was included in the budget. But it was just
So,
trying to stay on the same page.
okay,
It's-
okay. So let me ask you this. What financial hits did you take that you never expected? Anything that just caught you off guard during the marriage?
Uh, well, we had the hurricanes, but even with that, with the
Mhm.
80/20 principle,
Yep.
it's live off 80. The first thing everyone should do as soon as they get paid is pay yourself first. All
Hmm.
right. I was like,
Hmm.
all right, you have a savings account, so I have a savings account. We're both gonna pay ourselves. She worked too. I respect that.
Absolutely.
Pay yourself first. All right.
Yeah.
Second thing is for an emergency fund. For when it's because it's not a matter if something's gonna happen. It's a matter of when
When?
something's matter.
Hmm.
That's just
Absolutely.
life.
Yep.
And then my favorite one was the entertainment fund. I didn't want things to be so we had an entertainment fund that we
Yep.
both pitched in so we can have date nights and
Yeah.
keep things fresh and go out. But then uh, things got stale. Things got stale, and so
Yeah.
and then our main account. I looked at the accounts every day, and I started seeing it. It was a little bit here, then a little bit there, and I was just like, why is our main account dwindling down so
Yeah.
bad? I was just like, there's no way it should be dwindling down. If we didn't plan for it, or if it
Uh,
wasn't, that's one thing. But
yeah.
we had everything budgeted and planned for, and even if it happened every night, like a couple of them, I was just like, oh well. That's $50. All right.
Right,
So she
right.
went 75 over. Then it was 150, then 200. I was like, wait a minute, we need to wait. How we going? Yeah, this is the problem now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it was. So,
So what were uh the drawbacks, if any, to being married and trying to get on the same page financially, knowing what you know, what you've been through, and trying to relay that message to her, and it not getting in. I mean,
well, to her defense, it never got in. And so I wanted to get in. I thought that I could make it get in, but it never got in. It didn't get in the beginning. I remember, and I had a rule. My first date, I was just asking questions
uh-huh.
about previous relationship. I asked the questions about how much college debt you have, how much loans. And when she told me that on the first date.
Wow.
But I was, and I usually say, when we ain't going after, I'm not even going down that road. But her cleavage was staring at me, and I just was just looking at the wrong. I just got blinded. I should have stuck to my guns. But usually, it wouldn't have been a second date just because of the financial aspect, and that's what
But
got me
this
to
is
the
the
point.
thing. So you and then that's I mean that's a good thing that you asked that question so early. Usually people wouldn't ask it on the first date,
Oh yeah,
but seeing that you did,
because
I mean,
I would read books like Rich
but
Dad,
but you
Poor
two,
Dad.
were both college graduates
Right.
with a little bit of I guess student loan debt. So what made it so that you shouldn't have even taken that leap when she had her debt, you had your debt. I mean, you know.
Well, I had paid my debt off by then. I had paid
Oh,
my
okay,
debt off.
okay,
And it's not only that, it was credit card debt.
okay.
I asked all of those questions
So
because I used to.
she wasn't living financially fiscal or financially prudent,
She was living like most people in this country. It's not just most
reckless.
people live above their means.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say reckless. I would just say,
Okay. Okay.
most people just live above their means. If
Yep.
you
Yep.
got somebody who making 25,000, they're gonna live like they're making 50,000. So the
Hmm.
people in turn who makes 50 live like they're making 100. So the
Hmm.
people who are making 100, they want to live like they're making 250. So the people who are
Hmm.
making 250 want to live like they have a million. So the people who have a million want to live like millionaires, and it's a rat race.
Yeah.
And it just keeps
I
going
get
over and
that.
over and over and over and over. So I was like, we don't have to take part in the rat race, the
So you.
Madison Avenue lifestyle. Let's live below our means, and in
Uh-huh.
the end, it's going to pay off. My ultimate goal was to retire, get out early, and enjoy this journey
Life.
called life
Hmm.
because we only have so much time. And it's the last thing. I always value two things. Number one, it's my health.
Hmm.
It's my health. I know my grandparents were sick, and I saw a lot of old people with money
Hmm.
give all their money back. And as a health teacher, I tell this all the time. You always should value your health because, and if you're spending all the time working on take care of your health, you're going to end up paying doctors anyway. So
Yeah.
put your health first. And number two is time. And those are the top two commodities because we don't get any more time. It's almost 4 o'clock. We
Yeah.
can't go back and do 3 o'clock over.
Hmm. Hmm.
Last weekend, we had a fun time this weekend, but we can't do that over. It's gone forever.
Right.
Yesterday is gone forever, and yesterday and forever is a mighty long time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I always say that health is the most important thing in this
Right.
world, man, because people will spend their whole life trying to gain a dollar, but then they'll spend all that money back trying to get healthy. I mean,
Right.
it's if that doesn't prove to you how important health is,
Yeah.
I mean, nothing will. Uh, Also, man, uh, let me ask you. So now, you're going through a divorce,
Correct.
okay? So looking at it
I'll call
financially,
it a legal separation.
so you're legally separated right now, okay?
Yeah.
But
Right.
okay. So looking at it financially, what is the expense that snuck up on you? Like
Uh,
damn, I didn't foresee that.
Oh man, it's just the whole process, the
Mhm.
whole divorce process, from dealing with lawyers, going to court. Oh man, it's just a drainer.
Yeah,
It's just a drainer. Now I see why the old school guys just say it's cheaper to keep her. You know,
I hear
it's
you.
just going through this court system,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it's just and just looking at the national stats, it don't really, because it's not just me. I have a lot of friends around me who've been
Yeah,
through it, and
yeah,
it's just hard.
yeah.
So put
I've
you in
been
the
through it.
situation.
I've been through a divorce myself.
All right,
So when I talk to you about these things, I know a little bit or some things,
right,
but I definitely want to get your perspective, right? So that the audience
right.
can get that perspective.
And so, I mean, half the marriages in this country is going to end
Hmm.
in divorce. So you really have to go into that situation with the ending in mind. And since we really never could be on the same page while we were married, I mean, that like triple going to a divorce, just that dividing assets and everything. And I'm telling you, these lawyer fees, etc. It's not the divorce process. It's just the financial aspects. And I look at
Hmm.
like each dollar that's given to a lawyer, court,
Hmm.
could be in one of my kids' investments accounts. And so
Right, right,
that's the aspect that I take on it. But we don't see the
absolutely.
same way on that, because I it's all about the fight. It's what
Hmm.
I perceive. I can't speak for her. You
Right,
can
right,
speak
right.
for her, but it's all about where I'm about. This is a bad business decision. We could end it. I don't have a problem with ending it, but let's not
And that's
cost our
generally
kids.
what you want to do. Like
Right.
when
And
you,
all our savings is pretty much gone. We're paying for our lawyers'
yeah,
vacations, the court
yeah,
vac, and I'm just like, look, we're paying for everybody else's vacation. We worked hard, and so everything is just like zap, just like
yeah,
that.
yeah. When you realize that you've made a mistake, man, you need to take immediate steps to
Right. Yeah.
to turn that around.
Hmm.
So what do you know about community property and when you split up, the splitting up of the stuff? Is that a thing in Texas, or is that just
Yeah.
like Cali or New
It's
York or
is
something?
it is a thing in Texas with community property. It's once you're married, anything that you accumulate is community property. If you had property before you're married, then it's your property. But if you buy a car, if you buy a new TV, if you buy some furniture, all of
Hmm.
that, a washer and dryer, all of that
Yeah.
is considered community property.
Okay.
So it's just dividing all of that and going through that process of just the community property stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what about the kids? I mean, how are they handling it?
The kids are the kids. The kids really feel like that they have to pick sides. They gotta. So you really have to be on the same page with that aspect.
Yeah.
All right, and usually the kids are gonna go with who they're with the most, which is their mom. So
Hmm.
yeah, just as an educator, I teach in middle school, and as an educator, I don't deal with a lot of dads. I deal with a lot of moms. But then at the end of when it's time to go to high school, the moms wants to give the kids to the dad, but the kids are so set in their
Hmm.
ways. The dads are like, I don't need nobody trying to fight me
At that time,
or
yeah,
this time.
exactly.
So it's just it's just a trap, man. It's just a process that guys really have to be careful about. And I wish I would have known that beforehand. I wish, because the whole process is not the issue. It's just
Right.
these nuances.
Right. So
Right.
so so child support is the big finance when you're divorced, and you're not divorced yet, but
Right.
legally separated. I guess I presume you're paying child support right now.
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
I'm
So
paying for child
taking
support.
uh, but are there other expenses that people may not see besides child support? And what
Yeah.
hidden? Yeah. What are some hidden expenses?
Well, child support is emasculating. I was already paying money anyway, so that's not the problem. The child support is not the problem. It's just the
Mhm.
fact that your wages are garnished. It's just like
Yeah.
it just go and
You
just
have
snip
no
from.
control over them
Like,
taking your money.
oh, I mean, I
Yeah.
would rather give it, and I actually offered to give her more,
Mhm.
not to have me in this child support system.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think any man should be in this. Now, if you're not providing, that's one thing, but if you're providing and responsible, I don't see the government. Everybody loses once
Right.
you're involved in the system. Nobody wins, but
Absolutely.
the system. And so that was the big part right there. And then if you want your time, and a lot of a lot of fathers don't get that time because they got to spend extra time working to try to survive
Yeah,
on their own. I couldn't
absolutely.
imagine if I didn't have if I had college loans and
Hmm.
things of that nature,
Right.
etc. And so, I mean, you got to spend more time working, hustling, doing extras, and
Hmm.
then that can hurt you in the long run because then they're gonna go back and try to make you do more on that. So it's
Right.
just child support is not the problem. If you're on a budget, if you're already spending it, in my case, I was already spending it. So
Okay.
I think fathers should support their kids. That's not the
Yeah,
issue
absolutely.
because I think the time is more important. But then you got
Right.
to have resources to spend the time. You
Absolutely,
gotta
man.
spend the time. So it's like, all right, we're going to the park. We can't go to Monkey Joe's and jump around. 'Cause and the kids don't see that. They don't see that money being going. And Dad, you're cheap. Dad, won't you buy me some new shoes? And I need new shirts and all of this stuff. Well, Daddy can only do so much right now. Keep a roof over my head, gas prices out the roof. But you don't expect the kid to understand that. But
Right.
still, that's one thing that fathers have to deal with. So you really have to be prepared for that situation also.
Oh, good deal, man. Hey, we're running out of time, my brother.
Oh man, it's just not getting good.
It's
Come
just
on,
now
man.
getting good. So
Getting good.
another 60
Ready to eat.
seconds,
Come
man.
on, baby. I'm ready to eat.
So in 60 seconds or less, what have you learned going through the process of divorce as it relates to finances?
I've learned that it's a business decision. That's the first thing that you should look at before you're married. I mean, all of that, looking at the physical aspects of it, the beauty of it, that's all should be secondary. I mean, the first thing you should look at is from a business perspective, because and I'm just going from national stats. If you have a
Mhm.
50%, and in a minority community, it's more. We can even say 65% of chances of it's not working. You want to make sure that you go in it, as I said earlier, with the ending in mind. If it don't work, how are we going to divide assets? Prenups. You really have to kind of have a prenup, especially these days, because the system is not designed for you to win. Now, if you're a deadbeat, it's one thing, but if you're trying to do what you're supposed to do, the system will eat
Absolutely.
you up.
Absolutely, brother.
And I have more to say, but I know I'm on the clock. Oh
Yep.
man, I have more
Yep.
time. We can go on and on and on.
And we will. We're gonna have to get a second episode going.
Right.
But
All
let me get this final word out.
right.
When people fall in love and get married, forever after is usually the goal. But too many times divorce is the outcome. The divorce rate for black couples is at an all-time high, and the financial implications from this are becoming devastating. Between the thousands of dollars spent on divorce lawyers, the cost of maintaining two different households for the children's sake, and all of the money spent on the children outside of child support, the wealth gap between blacks and whites is widening at an alarming rate. I get it that sometimes you marry the wrong person. Sometimes it would hurt the kids more to stay married than if you divorced. I get it. I just want my people to get the fact that this generational wealth that we talk about won't happen if we continue with this divorce trend. I am divorced myself, so I'm not advocating to not get divorced. What I am saying is to get married with the end in mind. It just might protect your wealth. And that's the final word.
It's been my
Appreciate
pleasure.
you, brother.
All right,
Appreciate you,
appreciate
man.
you. I'm ready to go, man. That's it. That's it. Come on, man. We just starting to get down.
We just got good
Come on,
and
man. Let's
we
end
we
this and go ahead. Let's do part two right now, man. I'm feeling it.
will do part two later on in the summer, man.
No, let's
Appreciate you,
do it
brother.
now, man. Just end this and let's get it. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah. All right, brother.
All right, man. It's been a pleasure to be on your podcast. You guys make sure you like and subscribe. We want this to be the number one episode right here. We want the most likes. We want that
Already.
subscription rates to blow up. I'm about to go.
Already.
Young and finally, young man, make sure that you're listening and learning from this. This is some life
Absolutely.
saving information. When we're younger, of course, we have a nature and we have desires, but we really have to start using our head now, because our nature and desires is being weaponized against us, and it is being weaponized against us. And so you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware and know when you're dealing with some good quality, all right,
All
and
right,
when you're
all
dealing
right,
with bad quality.
all right,
That's
Willie. I thought I had the final word, man.
oh, my bad, my bad,
You're
my
trying to get the final word. All right, brother.
bad.
Hey,
All
appreciate
right,
you, man.
all right.
All right,
Thank you.
later.
All right.